What's up guys? Today I've got my hands on the new updated version of the OneXFly, and I'm super excited as I already loved the original version, and this one packs an even more powerful punch. Roll the trailer. So this has been updated with the powerful AMD Ryzen 7 8840U, which means you now have the power and performance to play pretty much any of your favorite AAA games on the go on medium to high settings. Now the design is very nice with customizable RGBs around the joysticks, and you have special RGB letters in both corners, and you can see there it says OneXFly, but you can get this personalized when you first place your order, so you can have it personalized with your own name or favorite word, etc. Now ergonomics are still really nice. You have rounded hand grips on the back on both sides, and this is one of the most comfortable handhelds from OneXPlayer brand. This is also my favorite design. The original OneXPlayer was my favorite handheld for the year. The design, the ergonomics, the controls, everything was spot on. So yeah, I am super excited to have that boost in performance. It feels great in the hands. The console has a soft touch finish front and back, and the corners and both sides have a beautiful matte finish. So we have Hall effect joysticks with customizable RGBs. We have a decent D-pad, shoulder buttons, and we've got Hall effect triggers. You have a familiar Xbox layout with your XYBA buttons, and then you've got your start select buttons along with home, turbo, and on-screen keyboard. The turbo button brings up the One X console overlay, which is very useful. It lets you customize things on the fly. You can tweak the TDP from 4 watts to 30 watts. So fan speed can be adjusted, or you can leave it on automatic so it can adjust itself as required. Vibration intensity can also be adjusted or even switched off. You can immediately change the display resolution to achieve better performance in certain games. You can adjust the RGB lights, and there are many presets that you can play with, as you guys can see. You can also completely switch off the RGBs anytime you like by pressing the Y button after making a selection. Now at the bottom you can see we have sliders for brightness and volume control, and right at the bottom you have a memory logo, and if you press it, it will free up some memory. Now at any point, if you long press the turbo button, it will bring up a game library interface with all your currently installed games. So you can launch your favorite games directly from here. Now from here, you also have the option to customize all the buttons. So you can basically map all functions and all buttons, including macros, which is quite interesting. Furthermore, you've got Update Center for firmware updates, Gamepad Check to check all the buttons are working, and then you've got resource downloads as well, so you can download popular software and apps. Now up on top you can see we have a power button, volume rocker, power indicator, we've got headphone jack, a USB 4 Type-C port, USB 3 Type-A port, and then we have 2 more programmable buttons right next to the shoulder buttons. And you can customize both buttons to do pretty much anything you like. And at the bottom we have another Type-C USB 4 port, MicroSD expansion, and we have our dual speaker grills. On the back you can see a large fan intake grill, and the fan can turn itself on and off as required to keep the system running cool. So intake on the back and then exhaust up on top. Quite efficient cooling system. It does a pretty good job at keeping the system running cool. Awesome design. My favorite design of the year for a handheld. I prefer this over the new Steam Deck and the new ROG Ally. It's just compact and comfortable. Great build quality. It's very light at only 599 grams. It's smaller, thinner, and lighter than the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. So this console is now technically as powerful as the new ROG Ally. You have a 7-inch fully laminated IPS display that's Full HD 1920 by 1080 with 120Hz refresh and 100% sRGB color space. You've got a peak brightness of 450 nits, and this is a touchscreen and it is very responsive too. What about performance? Well, the OneXFly is powered by the AMD Ryzen 8840U with 8 cores, 16 threads, running on the Zen 4 architecture. So it is a 4nm APU clocked at 3.3 GHz base and up to 5.1 GHz turbo. For graphics, you have the integrated AMD 780M with 32 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM and a choice between 1TB or 2TB of M.2 SSD PCIe 4.0 storage. There is also microSD card expansion, and I did a test and 1TB card worked absolutely fine. Now in case you're wondering, you do get Windows 11 Home pre-installed and ready to go. The OneXPlayer software is also very well supported, so expect plenty of updates. Without any further ado, let's play a whole bunch of games and see that performance in action, shall we? Let's go. Alright, the first game we're playing is GTA 5. Resolution is set to 1080p and the graphics is set to very high, and we also have it set to 120 Hz. And you can see we're achieving just under 70 frames per second. Alright, so now we're playing a Plague Tale. Resolution set to 1080p and the graphics is set to medium, and you can see we're achieving close to 40 frames per second, achieving well over 30 frames per second. And I have to say, the game is playing pretty well. Now this is a graphically intensive game, so you do need a pretty decent system in order to run this. And the OneXFly 8840U version is doing pretty well. I have the resolution set to 1080p and the graphics is set to high. And you can see we're achieving a comfortable 60 frames per second. So impressive performance, WWE 2K24 playing very well. Alright, so the next game we're playing is FC24. And we've got the resolution set to 1080p at 120 Hz. And we've got all the graphics settings maxed out to ultra. And you can see we're actually achieving just over 100 frames per second. So FIFA football fans will be delighted to know that this game plays really well on this handheld. So the next game we're playing is Call of Duty Cold War. Resolution is 1080p at 120 Hz. And we have the graphics set to medium, and we're achieving well over 90 frames per second. This is one of my favorite games, and I absolutely love playing Nuketown 24/7. Favorite map of all time. So the OneXFly is great to play your Steam PC games, but what about emulation? Well, we are playing Fight Night Champion using RPCS3 on native settings, and you can see it's playing nice and smooth. So that means there's plenty of power and performance to emulate more or less any of the popular systems out there, from PS2, PS3, Switch, and so on and so forth. So there you have it, guys. That was the OneXFly 8840U version. My favorite handheld of all time is now more powerful than ever before. You simply can't go wrong with this version. It plays AAA games at even better frame rates than the previous gen. The compact size is appreciated, beautiful bezel-less display, lightweight, easier to travel with, super compact in size. I love the connectivity options, including the extra USB ports and the 2 USB 4 ports, one at the bottom, one at the top. Furthermore, this does support up to 4TB microSD cards, which is certainly useful. Battery life is as expected in these Windows handhelds. You can achieve just over 2 hours of gaming when playing at 15 watts and 1 hour of gaming when playing at 30 watts. All the games I tested in this video were played at 30 watt TDP. Speaker quality is top notch, impressive sound quality, loud and clear, and pretty immersive. Furthermore, I did not experience any overheating issues or instabilities. Everything worked as it should, and this can play nearly all the big AAA games at 1080p 120 Hz and medium graphic settings, and some games can also be played at high graphic settings. So that concludes this video. I hope you found it useful. If you want to see more of my latest and greatest unbiased tech reviews, hit the like button, sub to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.